Welcome to the Verses of Life, where military resilience meets professional clarity and faith overcomes chaos. Get battle-tested wisdom with biblical insight to triumph through growth. Now for your host, Dr. Veronica Sites.
Yes.
So you talk about belief system a lot.
Yes.
And what I heard that I'd like either of you or both of you to kind of talk about is transformation of a business owner should never compromise integrity. I heard alignment. I heard the importance of, there's people that you are willing to do business with because there is alignment, and there's people that, you find in the same industry or in the same space, and there's got to be, I would call them borders and boundaries. Because we're not going to compromise integrity for growth. So tell me about how that fleshes out in the movement, and as you're helping individuals develop into higher level performers. Because the bottom line is, you can't be out of alignment and be building a bigger community.
Yeah.
That compromises the culture that you're creating. And you're creating a solid, long-lasting culture here. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think one of the things that makes us who we are is the fact that Billy and I have a lot of real-world experience, ups and downs. And this is just my real-world experience, okay? Anytime that I've done something to attempt to shortcut or attempt to go outside the boundaries or go against the alignment, it may work for a little bit of time, and then it is ripped away from me viciously because it is not with alignment. And I've had to go through a couple of different iterations of that at multiple stages of my life, different times. And as one who's experienced it, it is not fun. It is not a fun time. It is not cool. 10 out of 10 do not recommend.
Tuition of a bad decision.
Yeah. So, that's one of the reasons why I said earlier, hey, we're going to pause. I had a mentor that I worked with many, many years ago. And when I first started working with him, my company was providing services for his consulting company. And basically he said, we're going to date before we get married. And that was the first time someone ever said that to me in a business sense. And Billy and I, we've had those words go back and forth with us multiple times, right? We're going to date before we get married. We're going to test the waters because the person you show up with, as right now today, you're putting on some kind of front facade mask. If anyone knows anything about DISC assessments, you have the way you actually show up versus how you test kind of deal. So the version that we first show up within, let's say, the first 2 months, 3 months, is a different version of who we truly are at the core. So we have to let some of the, I think the human nature, the guard has to come down a little bit. And it takes us a while, whether consciously or subconsciously, to kind of drop that veil and show the true person. So, we definitely did that. And I highly recommend that to people as well. Like, hey, don't rush into everything. I had an accountant years ago when I was growing one of my service-based companies, and I used to come into him with new ideas every other week. And, he was getting real tired of it, right?
Shiny objects.
Yeah. And I remember I called him up one day, and he's like, dude, he goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. And part of him was correct. And the other part of me was like, hey, you're driving me crazy because we got to move faster here. But it still sticks with me today because it's like, hold on. It's not as urgent and important to happen right this second as you think it is. Pause, ensure that it's the right fit, ensure that the alignment is there, ensure the core value alignment is there, ensure this is truly going to help you get to the end result that you truly said you wanted to get to.
That's good.
And if we pause long enough, most times it isn't the case. And I think that, as I get a bit older, a bit wiser, I'm much more willing to pause and not move as fast as I once wanted to.
Good. And the partnership that you have, the longevity you have of really guiding people, guiding yourself, guiding your family from where you have been to the next level. You know where you're going to go, the clarity. You write those things down, you track them, the things that, create the highly successful top performers, the 1%ers in the world. If it's written, you're 43% higher rate of doing it. And so you practice this. You don't, it's not theory that you're just giving to people. I've sat through it. I mean, you do the do.
Yes.
And when you do it, you get the results. And it is creating muscle memory. It's in the same space. So community is something that there can be a lot of successful people out there. And there are a lot of very, by all appearances and by all bank account numbers, are very successful, and still they're feeling isolated. So how does the movement solve this problem for?
Yeah. I experienced this with the growth of my last service-based company. Got to a point where I had trouble holding conversations with friends, family members, because they could no longer understand the problems that I was facing in my business at that point in time.
That's good.
And realistically, and this isn't from like a cocky perspective, my problems had outgrown their ability to understand them because they'd never been in my shoes.
And that's fair.
It is. And I think that's a problem that most business owners who are really after a goal, who are, who want more, want to do better, they do come to the crossroads at some point in time, like, hey, like I need someone who understands the position, the situation that I'm in. And 9 times out of 10, unless you have a very entrepreneurial family, it's not going to be there. It's not going to be at home. It's not going to be with your friends at the bar. It's not going to be with your friends you grew up in high school and played football with, right? Because people you outgrow each other. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of life in my experience. But you have to find a group of people who understands where you are. And it happened for me. And this is so funny. You mentioned before, you mentioned it too. You have to grow as an individual before the business can grow. Well, I thought it was backwards when I started this journey, right? It was 2016, 2017. And I was like, wow, I see all this opportunity in my business. I understand the technical aspect of it. I understand how to do the fulfillment, the service work, but I don't understand how to make the business do more. And here's all this opportunity in front of us. I'm going to go hire someone who could help teach me these things. And I didn't understand the lid I was opening to Pandora's box. And honestly, if you would have told me what I was going to experience over the next decade, I probably would have closed that thing and thrown it in the trash and walked away, because I wasn't emotionally ready for it at that point in time too. But now looking back at it, I have no regrets whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because the person I had to become over several iterations, several versions of me, has dramatically changed, and I'm just a better human overall today because of it. But there's this big piece of growth that has to happen for the individual in order to get the business to that level. Yeah. Right? You can't grow the business to any level beyond what you've personally developed yourself. And I think that's a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people want to skip over.
It is, and I find it really interesting, Billy. I want you to kind of give a little bit of feedback. A lot of people resist change, but I find it fascinating that they're not as resistant to adapting. And it's really the same thing, different language. But what we're not willing to really in the mindset, like we do this with the word change. But in community, you said something very, very key is we don't need commiseration. We need camaraderie. And sometimes that's, well, let me rephrase it. It's not sometimes. It's when you are in the community that has occupied space where you're going to go.
Correct.
That's where that iron sharpens iron. And you're doing both of those things.
Most people think, the old saying, change is good and you go first. Okay. So they agree with change. They know change is needed. Okay. But what does that change look like for them? And so, one of the things we ask people, what does that next level look like to you when you get clear about that part of it? But then there's the other side of it that, our environment keeps us so limited. So, I've got this book that I've written called Destiny Zone. It's going to be second in the third book. Destiny Zone is about breakout, breakthrough, break free to a new reality or your destiny. Okay. And so the first thing to break out, we have to break out of complacency. We have to break out of the, social conditioning that we've been really conditioned in over and over again, that we just do live that Groundhog Day, even though we know change is necessary. Okay. So we have to, and that's going to take a lot of intentionality. It's going to take a lot of clarity that, hey, I've got to do some things different today than I did yesterday. Only new actions are going to get new results. Old ways will not get new results.
Yeah.
So the old saying, if we keep doing what we've always done, we're going to always get what we always got.
Yeah.
I tell people it's not true. Because if we keep doing what we've always done, we won't even get what we've always got. So sometimes fear is going to move us from change, the fear of staying the same.
Yeah.
Okay. And so fear is not always bad as long as we understand that, hey, if I don't make some changes, then it's only going to get worse. All right. So, but we have to figure out how are we going to be very intentional and get uncomfortable, because we get so comfortable so much and we've just lost our goals, our dreams, our vision. When I ask people, what's your goal? What's your dream? What is that passion, that fire that burns deep down inside of your soul? What is it that wakes you up, shakes you up, and keeps you up? What is that one thing that's going to drive you to the next level of your destiny?
Yeah.
And people go, what? I mean, I just go, what's your dream? And they go, what is it? Because they've lost it. So the first thing we have to do is help people get their dream back. They've got to look deep down inside and go, hey, I've got a dream. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they've got to get clear about it and start to bring it back out. And that's what's inside of your heart. The mind is telling us we can't do it. Society's telling us be a number, just get in our system, just, be the, and that it's going to be okay. Retire one day and get a gold watch and, this or that. And that's okay if that's what somebody wants to do. But I believe most people have a calling inside.
Yes.
They have a purpose. They have a passion. They have something that's deep down inside of their heart that it needs to be brought back out and become clear on. Yeah. But then it's going to be intentional that, hey, I've got to do some things different. I've got to get on a new path.
Yes.
And as you're going down that new path, though, then we have the self-limitations. The self-limitations is what we have to break through. Okay? So we have belief is a feeling of certainty that something's going to happen. That's what you believe.
Yes.
Okay? And so when we scroll through, we get our phone out and we're scrolling and we scroll and we believe it's possible for all these people out there, but we don't believe it's possible for us. We go, they can do it, they can do it, they can do it. And I tell people, what's different than you and them?
Yeah.
It's just the mindset and they're doing it. Quit looking at them. Look in your heart,
Yeah.
bring that dream out and realize that, hey, what's limiting you is a lot of, is some belief, that belief factor, the belief-o-meter.
Yeah.
And so we have to start believing it's possible for us. As we believe, we will start to act. If we believe it's possible, then we will take the actions. If we don't believe it's possible, we will stop. We won't do it. We'll self-sabotage. We go back to our old comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then we go back in that cycle where we got to break out again.
Yeah.
Okay. Much less breakthrough.
And you're hitting a key point, and it's the word break.
Break.
Something
Yes.
has to break.
Something has to
like
break.
a vase. The Ming vase is something that has been broken and it's been brought back together
Yeah.
by precious metal. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing is, and we resist change.
Yes.
Nobody wants to break, for heaven's
Yes.
sake. We want the breakthrough.
We want to break
But
through.
we don't
but-
consider the fact that to get to the through, there's got to be a breakthrough. So our takeaway on the breakthrough and the breaking of getting to the next level is it is going to be uncomfortable. There is a stretch to build muscle memory. And the thing about it is the more reps that they are, this is what we do in the military. You teach a skill, you drill the skill, you drill it, you drill it, you drill it until the will is conditioned and you're not reactive.
Right.
You're responsive. That's why the run in versus the run away. That is the face everything and rise. Same acronym for fear is forget everything and run. The same acronym for fear that is, forget everything, And the thing.
False evidence appearing real.
And
Yeah,
in fact,
false
if I can
evidence
finish
appearing
that
real.
thought just for a second. So you break out.
Break out.
You got to break through.
Break
Break
through.
through the self-limitations
Yes.
and all of this conditioning that we've had that we usually we wind up getting so high and then we go, that's really not me. And so we self-sabotage and we move back. Okay? But once we get uncomfortable long enough and we're intentional long enough, then that belief starts to rise. Once we do the things over and over again and repeat it,
Yes.
then we start to condition ourselves. And now we start to believe it's possible, not just for everybody else, but believe it's possible for us. Okay, but the final part that I really believe is there's another break. You
Yes.
talked about the break and the break. There's a break free.
Break free.
So the final thing is break free. And that breaking free is really about letting go.
Yes.
Because in that 2 chairs moment that I had, I was told by God, higher power, that you have to let go of some things. You know, do you have all these burdens, regrets, all of these different things that are holding you back? And so many times we have all of these different things that we really just have to let go of. We're carrying these bricks around in a backpack, and one brick at a time. We've got to, as we will take those, we will lighten the load so we can break free to this new reality of what we're called here for, what we were meant to be. So when you guys were talking about alignment earlier, I just wanted to add one more thing on that, okay? And when you're able to break out of complacency, break through self-limiting beliefs, and then let go of these things that are holding you back, you are able to move up to that new high level, which I call destiny zone. And that's where your purpose and your passion and your calling just come together. I believe we all have a purpose, we all have a passion, and we all have a calling. But remember earlier when I said your mind is telling you one thing, your heart's telling you another? So your heart and mind have to be aligned.
There has to be alignment.
So you have to listen to your heart and condition your mind to do what your heart says. And then your values. So it's really about your purpose, your passion, your calling, your mind, your heart, and your values. When you can get all of those aligned, then you start living at a higher level of your destiny, where miracles start to happen, where the clear dream and vision that you had to your life, it starts to come into reality. And it can move you further and faster. It can happen more rapidly than anybody has ever dreamed possible if they could just really understood that, and they could move up to that zone.
And that's, that's a good way to wrap up our show today. I mean, the dreamer sleeps. The visionary is eyes wide open, has clarity, writes down those goals, tracks those goals, gets them going, and takes the action to demonstrate what becomes believable to the individual. So, my friends, you have heard from two outstanding top performers, and wherever you are at right now, it's your moment. It is time to break through, break free, and what was the other one?
Break out.
Break out. Break out. And I will say that happens in community a lot of times, because oftentimes in the right community, somebody can say, hey, Billy, you got a backpack there. Let me just clip those for you.
Right.
Maybe you're doing it one brick at a time, but a community coming around you and say, man, that backpack is heavy.
Yeah.
Let's lighten the load. And you've got that support. So y'all need community, the movement. Billy Cox, thank you for what you're doing. We're going to have you back. Yeah, there is so much depth to this well here. We're bringing
I feel like
beautiful life
started,
in. I know. Thank you for being on the Verses of Life. We will pick up on a new level where you're growing.
This has been the Verses of Life, where warriors and professionals live life on purpose, silence doubt, and lead with action. Stay strong, stay grounded, and remember, growth through pain reveals a greater purpose. Stay. The world needs you.